So, Vinted is one of my best kept secret websites to dropship on, not because there's a ridiculous amount of sales velocity and sales that happen on the platform for you. They do happen, they are there, but because there isn't that much competition relative to other platforms, right? So, because of that, we can utilize the dropshipping business model to compete with other resellers on the platform and realistically take advantage of that low barrier to entry when we have all this inventory we can list if you know how to do it properly. Okay. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to dropship on Vinted. The difference with Vinted specifically is mainly that you can't have stock images on your listing or they'll take it off. Okay. So because of that, you need to find listings either using, like, one of the best ways is using eBay products specifically and using and going after listings that only have images that look like you've taken them yourself. So then obviously it doesn't flag in the system that it's only stock images on your listing. Or specifically, what you can do is you can go to Amazon or go to Walmart and use listings with review images that are high quality review images that show the product in that specific review image, so it looks like you have the product still new and you've taken it yourself, right? That's how you can dropship effectively on Vinted. You can also dropship used stuff, although I haven't really gotten into that specifically on this website yet. It's just obviously possible. So I just pulled up 5 random Amazon listings that looked like they had a lot of ratings and reviews. Why is that important? Because obviously then we can find, good high quality review images that people have taken that we can then utilize on our Vinted listing and say that we've essentially taken it ourselves. So we want to click in the review images and look for pictures of these that look like they've been taken, and we can obviously then sell it and then drop ship it effectively. So this looks like a pretty decent one. Let's check this out. It does kind of look like, obviously this is a 1-star review, but it does look like somebody took a picture of this and it looks fairly new. So let's make sure that that's actually what we are selling here. If we scroll up, this is the white one. So if we listed the black one, then we could probably get away with that. Or what we could do is we could list the white one here and then obviously come down to the review images and sell one like this with this lady, because clearly those are pretty high quality images. So I'm going to take all 3 of these and I'm just going to take snippet images of these. Part of this, just like drop shipping, if you're drop shipping on Depop or Mercari or any of the other places where you're adding review images in, it does take a little bit more time to actually do that. And because you can't just like click over with like copy by Z drop or something along those lines with a software. But if you build a system, I don't actually do this myself anymore. You just build a system and then you train your VA to do it for you. And then you don't have to dedicate a lot of time to this, but maybe like an hour a day or, a few hours a week, you have them list to Vinted. That way you're diversifying your platforms that you're selling on. You're not solely reliant on just 1 or 2. You have diversified platforms, and there's different buyers on Vinted than there are on Depop, than there are on Mercari, than there are on eBay, than there are on Facebook Marketplace, than there are on Amazon, Etsy. The list goes on and on. You get the picture, right? So that's why you want to diversify, so that you're have the potential to sell on a number of platforms, but also so that you're not only relying on one if for whatever reason you get suspended or your account goes down or traffic or sales slow down on one platform. You're on, 5 to 10 platforms. You're not solely reliant on one. Okay. And I always recommend that. So then what we're essentially going to do is we're going to copy this. We're going to paste in the title here. We're going to paste in the photos. Here we go. Obviously, you're going to want your best one first. That's what's going to sell your image. This looks a pretty high quality pictures, even though they're review images, and it still looks like I did them myself. Now, you don't want to, just like your drop shipping, I always say this on any platform, you don't want to add any 1-year guarantees, warranty information, money back guarantees, anything about, it being a specific Amazon product or a specific Walmart product on that platform. So just make sure that some of the bullet points don't say that. It's typically, especially on Amazon, going to be the last bullet point that does say that. Obviously, that's why I'm not copying it there. So I'm going to paste it in the description there. We just simply categorize it, right? So this is already kind of showing us that. It's not really glasses, but for the sake of not wasting your time, I'm going to put it in there. The condition is going to be new. The color is going to be, we'll say white, actually. There we go. The price. So what you can do is you can either, just kind of eyeball it. And then, so for example, like if I was eyeballing this, it's $28. I might list this high at like $59.99 because it's not that crazy to buy snow goggles at $59.99, right? Or what you could do is you just pop a calculator out. Doesn't look like I have one on this computer pinned. And what I would do is I just go 28 and you can mark it up like 60%, multiply it by 1.6. You can mark it up like, 40%, whatever you want to do. I typically just eyeball it, but what I tell my VAs to do is typically depending on the platform, because obviously some platforms like Poshmark have higher fees, whereas other platforms like Vinted, the fees aren't as high. So typically on Vinted, I tell them to mark it up, 60%. So then I would tell them to round it up $28, right? And then multiply it by 1.6. So they would list this on Vinted at $45 because then they'd round that up as well, right? I'm going to list this at 59 because I'm doing it and I'm eyeballing it. Then you want to select your package size. You don't bump the item, and it looks like I forgot to put the brand name in there as well. So we're going to list it without a brand. I always do that unless it's like, because you don't want to list it with like a third-party brand, obviously. The only time you want to utilize the brand on Vinted, or really most platforms, is if it's like a recognizable brand that's going to help sell the product, right? So for example, if I was listing like a toolbox and it was like a DeWalt toolbox, I would put DeWalt in the brand name because that's a brand name that's going to bring buyers to that listing. They specifically go after DeWalt toolboxes. That's not always the case, and since this is a third-party product on Amazon, I'm not going to list the brand, so I'm just going to simply list it as without brand, and then I'll upload the product. So now we're going to list another one, and we'll move on to one more because it's pretty self-explanatory, and you get the idea. So this one right here is similar. It's goggles, obviously, for dirt bikes. So we're going to click into the review images and see if we can find some good ones that look like they're relatively new that we can then obviously use on our Vinted listing. So this one is perfect. This is what I typically go after when somebody just like takes a product picture of it laying there, because Vinted, no matter the platform, Vinted in this specific example, it looks like you literally took a picture of a brand new item yourself and you're selling that as that seller, right? So that's what they're essentially looking for on their platforms, and that's what I typically go after. I do the same thing on Mercari, I do the same thing on Depop, I do it the same thing on a number of these platforms where you typically need at least one picture that's not stock. This is typically what I'll go after. Now, if I was doing this on Mercari or Depop, I would then also add the stock images. But since I'm doing this on Vinted right now, you can't add stock images on Vinted. So I'm going to find a few more other review images that I think look good. Obviously, if there aren't any other good review images, I wouldn't take them. But so like this one's pretty solid. This one's not bad. Just showing like different kind of looks of it. And we'll take one more because obviously pictures sell the listing the most. So this one right here, and we're not going to have any of this stuff in there, so we're not going to take that. Paste the photos in there, drag this one over to the beginning, this one over there. And now we're going to come back. We're going to copy title, copy the description. Again, make sure that you're not getting any warranty information or anything like that. It doesn't look like any that's in here. Copy that over. This has to be a little bit shorter because it's too long. Category, it's going to be men's glasses, just for the sake of not wasting your time. The brand is going to be listed without a brand because it's third party. It's going to be new with tags, and the color is black. We're going to say that it's medium, and then we're not going to bump the item. And now the last thing we need to add is the price. It's $17. Again, you can mark it up whatever you want. Specifically, if you want to put that into your system for your VAs, or this is 17 bucks. I'm going to mark this up to like 35, knowing full well that if I sell it at 35, even with a fee there, I'll probably make like high 20s. And then there's, a $13, $12 margin on this product. So that's how you list on Vinted. That's how you dropship on Vinted. It's another phenomenal site that you can list on and dropship products effectively, get sales, differentiate where you're selling and you're listing products on. It's obviously not going to bring you, like thousands of dollars every month in profit, but you can make hundreds of dollars in profit on this website with enough listings. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but whether you're doing it yourself or you're having your VAs do it, spend a little bit of time on this, diversify, and you will see the results.